In this video today, I'm going to show you how to transform hoops to make them look brand new. I'm Hoopsmiles, and I got myself a hoop right here. And as you can see, this thing is pretty dirty, pretty worn out. Definitely a fixer-upper, needs a lot of work. And also, as you can see, there are a bunch of different hoop color combinations that one can use to decorate a new hoop. I want to refurbish this hoop right here. I want to strip off a bunch of the tape, and I want to retape this hoop and restore it back to its natural beauty. So let's get started with the hoop transformation process. So the first thing you need to do is you need to select the hoop that you want to transform. So whether you want to go bigger, or you want to use a smaller hoop. Now the hoop I'm going to be working with in this video is this one right here. As you can see, this hoop right here has the hoop tape on it, but if you don't have a hoop with hoop tape on it, that's totally fine. You could even just take a hoop like this one. This was a hoop that was bought from the store, and you can decorate a hoop like this as well. Along with your hoop, you're also going to need some paper towels or a cloth to clean your hoop, some scissors, and some hoop tapes to decorate your hoop. In terms of the hoop tapes, as you can see, there are a bunch of different colors that you can choose from, so you can totally get creative. Now, I do recommend that you use gaffer tape as one of your main hoop tapes, just because there's so many benefits to it. One being, I feel like it can add some extra grip to your hoop, which can make it easier for the hoop to stay up. In terms of the tape size, I do recommend that you get tape that is between a 1/2 inch to an inch in width. I definitely would not go over an inch in width, otherwise that might be more challenging to decorate your hoops. Also, if you're interested in making your hoop extra fancy looking, you can also combine one of these shinier hoop tapes with the gaffer tape. I feel like that can make a great combo. I'll put a link in the description of this video directing you where you can get gaffer tape along with some of these fancier hoop tapes as well. Also, quick question, of the color combinations that you see here, which color combo is your favorite? Please go to the comment section and let me know. Let's see which color combo is most popular. Moving right along, so the next step to this project is I want to go ahead and strip off the old hoop tape that's on this hoop, or as much of the hoop tape as I can take off. Now, if you just have a bare tube and your hoop does not have hoop tape, then this step doesn't apply to you. To get started removing the tape, I'm going to begin by taking the outermost layer off first, or the tape that overlaps the other tapes. All I'm doing here is using my fingers to strip or pull the tape off. Once I have removed as much as I can of the first layer of tape, then I will do the same for all the remaining layers. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if some spots of old tape remain. Now, if you're feeling kind of lazy and you're like, you know what, I don't want to strip off all the old tape, you could just put a new layer of tape over the old tape. That's totally fine to do. However, I don't recommend doing that for a couple of reasons. One being, I have found that if I put tape over the old tape, sometimes I can feel some lumps and bumps in the new tape where the old tape was. Also, too, if you're going to be, let's say, refurbishing these hoops constantly, for many, many years to come, and you're just constantly putting hoop tape over hoop tape, over hoop tape, over hoop tape, I do find that the hoop can start to become a little bit heavier. So that is something to consider too, and why I would recommend to remove all the old hoop tape first. So the next step after removing the hoop tape, or at least as much of the old hoop tape as you can, is I recommend taking a wet cloth and then cleaning the frame of your hoop. Yes, sometimes these old hoops can get really dirty, so I do recommend doing this. Also, too, if there is a bunch of the old adhesive from the old tape still left on the hoop, you might want to use a cloth that's not going to transfer as much lint or stuff to the hoop. Now, if there's not as much sticky adhesive left on your hoop, you might be able to just clean your hoop with a wet paper towel as well. So once you have finished wiping down your hoop, I do recommend that you let your hoop dry first before moving on to the next step. Now, before I show you how to apply the new layer of hoop tape on your hoop, I just want to give you a close-up of what my hoop currently looks like. So as you can see, my hoop doesn't look perfect. There's still some leftover markings from where the old tape was. Also looks like there's some possible tape adhesive left over on my hoop as well. So, if your hoop doesn't look perfect at this point, before you put the new layer of tape on, that's totally fine. Moving on to the next step in the video, it's now time to apply the hoop tape. Here's the 2 hoop tapes I'm gonna put on my hoop. Now, if you're a beginner hoop maker out there, I definitely recommend that you use gaffer tape for sure. You may even wanna use gaffer tape for both of your colors if you're gonna do multiple colors, just because gaffer tape I feel like is a much more forgiving tape. It's much more flexible. Now, if you're gonna do something similar to what I'm doing in this video, where I'm doing a combo of both the fancy tape with the gaffer tape for my hoop tape decoration, then I definitely recommend that you wrap your hoop first with the fancy tape or the non-gaffer tape first, and then apply the gaffer tape second. Now, before I wrap my hoop with the first hoop tape right here, I just wanted to give you a look at what this fancier hoop tape looks like. I feel like this is pretty common for a lot of these fancy tapes. Is they'll come on these rolls like this, and then basically you cut a section off, and then when you cut that section off, like if I giving you this example right here, then basically you can go ahead and peel the tape off like this, and then apply it. Now, what's really challenging about this tape is that I feel like it's much less flexible. So this is a much harder hoop tape to work with. And that's why, if you have never wrapped a hoop with some of these fancier tapes out there, don't be surprised if you make a lot of mistakes. Also too, if you make mistakes and you have to peel this hoop tape back, there's a chance that you can damage this tape, or put creases or wrinkles in the tape, and then it may not look as appealing after that. Like I said, don't be surprised if you make a lot of mistakes using a tape like this in the beginning. So now I'm going to go ahead and take this hoop tape right here, and I'm going to cut off a section of this tape, and then I'm going to apply it to the hoop. Once you have your cut tape section, peel off the tape and then apply it to your hoop at a diagonal angle. Pressing the tape on the hoop with your fingers, wrap the tape around the hoop diagonally. The degree of angle you wrap the tape around may depend on multiple factors, such as the size of tapes you are using, etc. I recommend making the space between your tape sections less than the width of your second tape you plan on using. Since I will be using a gaffer tape a 1/2 inch in width next, then I should aim for the space between each tape section to be under a 1/2 inch in width. If it takes a few tries to line up the hoop tape to get the right spacing you desire, that's totally fine. When wrapping the hoop, let the tape flow diagonally around for a smooth tape application. If you find that the spaces between the tape are getting larger or smaller as you wrap, you can slightly manipulate the tape with your fingers to direct the tape back on track. Or if the tape is really off, you can just cut it and readjust the angle to apply the tape. And once you have applied the first section of hoop tape, go ahead and finish taping the rest of your hoop. As you reach the section where you first started taping, you may encounter the tape not matching up, which is very common. If necessary, continue to apply the tape over where you first started taping, manipulating the tape, cutting it as needed until the outer tape matches the under layer of tape. Once the tape matches up or is in similar alignment, you are done with the first layer of tape. Now, there are multiple reasons why I recommend that you wrap your hoop first with the tape that's not the gaffer tape, especially if it's, a fancier tape like this one. One being is I feel like a lot of these tapes can be much more challenging to work with, and also less flexible. Also too, I feel like this type of tape, it doesn't do well overlapping the gaffer tape if the gaffer tape was applied first. Also too, I feel that sometimes tapes like this can be less sticky. So if you put the less sticky tape on first, and then you put the gaffer tape, which I feel like is a very sticky tape, it does well on the hoop, on next, then I feel like it can kind of seal this tape in. So yeah, so I definitely recommend that you apply sort of these fancier hoop tapes first, and then the gaffer tape after. Now that I got the first layer of hoop tape on my hoop, I'm gonna go ahead and put a second layer, this pink gaffer tape, on the hoop next. To apply the gaffer tape, match it up to the untaped section of your tube. Using your fingers, pressing the tape against the piping, wrap the hoop diagonally. Follow the untaped stripe line around the entire hoop. For a smooth tape application, keep the roll of tape close to the tube as you wrap. In my experience, if the roll of tape gets too far away from the tube, it can become harder to wrap the hoop. Once you have wrapped the entire hoop with gaff tape, Reaching the spot where you started, leave a little extra tape to overlap the tape where you began. To finish, cut the tape, finish applying, and you are done. So here it is, everybody, the newly transformed hoop. What do you guys think of this hoop transformation? Go down to the comments section and let me know. I want to show you a before and after shot of what this hoop looks like. So let's check out the before shot first. As you can see, this hoop appeared to be pretty dirty, and there were parts of the hoop where the tape was coming off. Now here's what the hoop currently looks like after the transformation. As you can see, everybody, the newly transformed hoop looks way better than how it did before. So instead of just throwing out your used hoops once they start to look old and dirty, I recommend trying this out. Try the hoop transformation process and refurbishing your hoops. Also, to the people out there that don't have their own hula hoops at home to transform and you're interested in making your own DIY hula hoop, I do have a hula hoop making tutorial on my channel, which I will put a link to that video in the description of this video. Also in the description of this video, I will put a link or multiple links to where you can purchase gaffer tape along with some of the more fancier hoop tapes out there as well. So there it is, everybody. If you're interested in watching more hula hoop videos from me, I recommend subscribing to my channel. I've also got a video where I teach you how to make a hula hoop out of cardboard. If you'd like to learn how to make a hula hoop just using cardboard boxes, I recommend checking that video out. Thank you, everybody out there, for watching. Until next time.